Okay, first question. Identify the data structure used in the code. What is the data structure used in the code? Yeah. Adarshana, tell me. What is the data? Array. Array or another name? Kamsa, Razi, another name for arrays. I mean, arrays are implemented in Python in the form of or using lists. Okay, array or lists. Both are okay, right? Array or list. Identify two programming. Yeah.
So could you tell all the data structures which are there?
All the data structures. Well, in your syllabus, what you learn is the array on the list, one-dimensional array and two-dimensional array, right? But when you come to A levels, you will be learning about stack, queue. Stacks and queues were not there, right?
No.
That's right. So in A levels, you'll be learning stacks, queues, then linked lists as data structures, other data structures. So data structure is basically a and also something called arrays. Then in arrays, 1D array, 2D array, then queues, stacks, and then linked lists. So data structures are basically, collections of data that we store in contiguous memory locations, right? So here, of course, you will be learning. You need to know only about arrays and 1D arrays and 2D arrays, right? Identify two programming constructs used in the code. Razi, tell me one. Programming constructs. Razi, tell me one.
So selection.
Selection was selection there in the code. Selection is a programming concept, but was it there in the code? Others than was selection there? If you look at the code here, right? Selection is not there, no? Rasi? So loop is there, or the repetition is there, and obviously the sequence is there, right? So that should be according to the code that they have given. There are 3 errors in the code. State the line number and the type of the error, right? Adarshana, tell me one error.
Line number 12, there is a syntax error.
Line number 12 is a syntax error. Is it?
Yes, because average the capital A.
Yeah, that's not a syntax error, right? I mean, if you run the code, you see the error. It displays the type of error. Right now, see here. If you run the code, I have replaced it. It was here. It was capital A, right? So if you're on
yes,
the code,
it says name error.
Yeah, it says name error. Right? It's not a syntax error. Syntax error is not following the grammar. If you don't follow the grammar of the code or the programming language, that's a syntax error, right? So this can be taken as a name error because basically you are trying to access a variable which is not defined. Right now here,
Yeah,
average.
sir, I have a small doubt, sir. Like
Yeah.
at times when we check for errors in a program, we
Yeah.
get name error and data type error and a few other errors which
Mhm.
are not there in the textbook. So I try to align them with the three main errors
Yeah,
that we have.
but the thing is this, like, can we take this as a syntax error? No, because it's not
Mhm.
due to a mistake in the grammar. If it is grammar, of course, for example, this P capital print, capital P print is a syntax error. Indentation error
Okay.
is a syntax error. Right? Can this be a logical error? No, it's not a logical error.
Hmm.
Can this be a runtime error? No. So then,
No.
of course, we had to go a little beyond the book and use the programming language to understand these type of errors. Right?
Hmm.
So you
Okay,
can,
sir.
I mean, even if you didn't know what name error, you can simply write it because you see it right here, right? I mean, Python is saying that it's a name error, right? So you can just,
Yeah.
so basically the variable is not defined. You are trying to access a variable which is not defined. Then you might you might think about this one, average, right? How come this is this defined or not? It is defined. You know why? Because you have mentioned the name of the variable and then you have the assignment operator and you do a calculation and the result is assigned to the average, which means this is defined. This is defined and assigned as well, right? But this one you are trying to print, whereas it is not defined or it is not assigned either. Okay, so you can take it as name error, right? Then answer, tell me another error. So if you correct the error, you will make it simple. Yeah, concept. Next error. Now, when you correct that and run, like it appears to be having no errors because you get the value. Right? But if you look closely, you can see the values are wrong. So if it is not giving the values that we expect to have, it is coming under which type of error? If the program is not giving the intended results, what is the type of error?
The logic.
It's a logical error, right? So there are two logical errors, right? If you look closely, you can see the total marks can't be 45, right? Because all these marks have to be added. So that's a logical error in the total. So where does that happen? It happens in line number. Line number. Where is the total? Line number 7. Good. Line number 7. It is not adding the total properly. Right. So the two logical errors. Line number 7, where the total is not added properly. So you get the wrong total. That's one logical error. The other logical error is line number 9, where the average is not calculated correctly. So can you tell me how do you correct the first one? Line number 7. Adarshana? What's the mistake? How do you calculate line number 7? How do you correct line number 7? Yeah, Adarshana? I can't hear you. Can both of you hear me?
Yeah, sir.
Sir?
Yeah. Adarshana, What's the mistake? Line number 7.
So line number 7, I tried and I like deleted the term marks and I put range, but still it doesn't work. So even I couldn't identify the error.
You would range. Oh, there's another mistake actually. I think there's no problem in line number 9, right? Line number 9 is okay. I think the problem is line number 6, right? Line number 6, there's a logical error because here, every time when it loops, the total is set to 0, right? So correct your answer, right? So it should be line number 6. Line number 6 has a logical error. Line number 7 is also having a logical error because it is not adding the individual marks to the total, right? Because it says term marks 1. And line number 6, the problem is total is set to 0 every time when it loops, right? So how do you correct line number 6? You have to take the total out of the for loop. Total should be defined and assigned before you start the for loop. Okay. Line number 7, how do you correct? It says term marks 1. It can't be term marks 1 because you can see in the for loop there's a variable called I, right, which goes from 0 to 5. That's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you're accessing individual values in the array, this can't be 1, this has to be I, right?
Yes, I got it.
Yeah, correct the 2 errors and check whether you are getting this answer. 365 and 60.83. Answer?
Yes, I'm getting it.
Okay. Great. Adashana? Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Right. Then the next one. The algorithm works with a fixed number of subjects. So remember, make to save the code with the new name, right, before you edit. Otherwise, you will overwrite this one. Now, see, I have already overwritten this, right? Because you can keep this as a backup all the time. Okay. Right. State how the code needs to be changed to make this amendment. Now you can see right now the code works only for the numbers here, only for a fixed set of numbers, that is 6 numbers. How do you change this so that it can work for any numbers, any number of values? Mention the line of code that would need to be amended to allow for any number of subjects. Anyway, we had yes.
I put line number 3.
Line number 3. Line number 3 is this one. Okay.
Yeah, and then change to be made. I put a blank array like term marks equal blank square brackets. And then I put a slash, and then I wrote that the user should input the term marks and then append it into that blank array.
Okay.
And then divide it by the total number of divided by the total number of marks put by the user?
Total number of marks or the total number
Total number in the sense like each mark.
each mark. So how do you
Yeah.
do that? How do you do that?
How do you do that in the sense of like I didn't type it in the code, I just wrote it in the paper, like typed it in the paper.
Okay. I think here we have to assume that the array is already given. Okay, let's say now here this array has 6. Okay, next it can be an array with 50. No, it can't be 10 subject marks, right? Or it can be an array with 15 subject marks. So we had to, I think we had to assume that they have already given the array, right? So in that case, we don't really need to ask the user to enter the number of subjects, right? Rather, you can see here in the for loop, you can see it goes only 6 times. So even if I change the array here, I can even amend the array. Well, without asking the user to enter, I can just amend the array. Right? I can just put a few more subject marks, but then the code will not give you the correct result. Why? Because it is set for 6 values, right? The for loop goes only for 6 values, right? And when it is calculating the average, it is divided by 6. So when the array length changes, it doesn't give the correct result, right? So we can assume that the array can change, right? It can be user input, or it can be just amending the number of values there, right? But I think we had to focus on these two places, line number 5 and line number 9, where in line number 5 it runs only for 6 iterations, where in line number 9 it gets divided by 6. Okay, so what can you do? What can you do there? Right, where you have 6, instead of 6, you can put the length of the array, right? So len what? Term marks. Simple, right? Now, no matter how many values you enter, it will take the length and goes from 0 to 1 minus the length. And here also we can put the same len term marks. Okay, now let's test it. I'm going to add to test this. The best way is I'm going to put the same value. Right, I'm going to put the same value for all these. Okay, there are 6 5s. I'm going to change the length. I'm going to put one more, 7, 8. Right, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Right, now if I run this, it should give 5 as the average, right? Because I'm adding the same value, so the average has to be the same value, right? Okay, before that, let me test it for 6. Okay, for 6. Okay, there you go. It's 30 and 5. Okay, now for 8, I should get 40 as the total and 5 as the average, right? There you go. Okay, let's try for 10. That's 8, 9, 10. Works. Right? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, when you're answering, you have to write the code, not the description, right? State how the code needs to be changed to make this amendment. Original line of code. So just copy the original line of code. Change to be made. So this 6 has to be changed to len term marks. Original line of code, average equals round total divided by 6, comma 2. Right, that's it will be rounded for 2 decimal points if there are decimal points, and change to be made, total divided by length of term marks. Understand? Clear? Answer? Rasi? All right. Subprograms are small programs that are written within a larger main program. In every programming language, there are inbuilt subprograms. Also, user can define any as they want. That means there are two types of subprograms. One is inbuilt or built-in subprograms. The other is user-defined subprograms. What they're asking is, state two built-in or inbuilt subprograms in this particular code. What are they? Now, subprograms can be functions or procedures. Answer, tell me. Answer, Rasi. Can you guys hear me? Answer, Rasi. Name two inbuilt subprograms. Adarshana? Adarshana, can you hear me? Guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sir, sorry, sir. There's some problem with my mic. So, sir, print
Yeah, print. Print is one function.
and then four. Print
Oh.
and four.
Po is not a subprogram. Po is a loop.
Because I ran out of options. I knew print was one. The
Okay.
other one, I was a bit,
No,
I was kind of wondering.
The easiest way to find out whether it's a subprogram or a function is look for the brackets, look for the parentheses. Right? Now you see the print has parentheses and there's something inside that. So print is a subprogram. What else you have like that?
Average.
No.
But it's like a user-defined program.
Hey, average is a variable. It's a variable. Okay. They're looking for built-in. Actually, this one doesn't have any user-defined subprograms. If there are user-defined subprograms here, we should have def, def. There's no def there. Right? There are two more. One we just added. What is it? We added the built-in
Range.
Range.
Length.
Length. Okay. Range is range. Range. I don't think that it's a subprogram. It's part of the for loop. right? But clearly len that we just added, len term marks. So it's a subprogram, right? The other is round. See round, the round function. Okay, so len, round, print, they all are subprograms. All right. Okay, we'll do this one and fail it, right? A list of employee names is stored in a data structure. A user will input the name through the keyboard and he need to check whether it is included in the code or not. What? A list of employee names is stored in data structure. A user will input the name through the keyboard and he needs to check whether it is included in the code or not. Included in the code? Included in the data structure, right? Not the code, right? Given below is the algorithm being written as a pseudocode. You are required to write a code for the scenario. Consider the text case. Okay. Right. So it's basically the, what do you call this? This is a famous searching algorithm. What is this searching algorithm?
Linear.
Yeah, exactly. Linear search. Okay. It says consider the text case. That means, you know, if you are looking for Nimal, for example, you have to type Nimal exactly as it is. Then only it can find Nimal. That means the end should be capital. So what they say is consider the text case. That means it should work irrespective of the case. Right? Whether you type capital or simple, it should still find Nimal. Okay, shall you do it? It's 12 marks. It's target 12 into 2.25. 27. I don't think we need 27, but roughly or maximum 27. Okay, start. Start by changing the name. Now you can see in the code, they have used something called a subprogram called .lower. What it does is it will convert the text into lowercase. So what they're trying to do is they try to convert both the names into lowercase and match. Anyone finished? Adarshana, Kamsa, Razi?
Um, so almost.
Almost, right. Okay. Kamsa? Razi?
So almost.
Razi, what about you? Razi, are you finished?
So almost.
Almost, right. Okay. I just finished. Let me know when you're done. And I tested, it worked. By the way, there's a small mistake in the pseudocode also. You can't be taking that long. Just like 10 minutes is enough.
So there's some error, like I don't get the
Mhm.
correct answer after running.
Okay, which means like when you are searching for the correct name, it says not found. Did
Yeah.
you type
Yeah.
with the exact case?
Yes, sir, I did.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what about Adarshana? Rasi?
So everything is okay except for the case.
Okay, right. Razi, what about you? Okay, just 10 minutes is enough for that, right? So this is what I did. First of all, let me show you how it works. I mean, show you the result. Run, Nimal, found. Okay. If I type capital N Nimal, found. If I type all caps Nimal, found. That's what should happen, right? Okay, that's the first word. No, I mean first name. I'm going to try the last one, right? That's Peter. Peter, found. Peter. Sorry. Peter. Oh, something which is not there. Let's say answer. Not found. Okay. So what are the changes we did? Yeah. Array is there. It's fine. It's done. And here what they have done is they have input a name with a prompt name. And when they are inputting the name, they are converting that name into lowercase, everything to lowercase. And then it is being stored in check. Okay. So you should get an idea from this, the lower function. It converts everything into lowercase letters and stores here. Found equals false. That's directly from the zero code. Found is set to false. I is set to 0. While I is len of less than length of employee. So while I is len emp, the len function, right? That means as long as I is less than length of the employee. So length of the employee is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So when you put less than length of employee, it goes only up to 6. I starts from 0. So 0 to 6, it's fine. Because this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Correct. What do we do? If check equals double equal empi, I is the index. So empi will be Nimal first, Saman second, like that. Right. This is the mistake that they haven't. I mean, they have done in the pseudocode. They haven't converted this into lowercase. Right. The user input is lowercase, but if you don't convert each name here into lowercase, then there won't be a perfect match. Right. Now let me show you. If I remove this lower function, and now if I try to find the person, not found. Right? Why? It is checking capital N Nimal against all lowercase Nimal. That doesn't match. Okay. If I try Nimal, not found. The reason is this, right? When you're accessing individual names here, you have to first convert that into lowercase. So lowercase to lowercase, no problem. We can match that. perfectly, right? Now see. Oh, understand?
Yes, sir. Sir, how much marks do you lose if that? I mean, if you forget to mention MI dot lower.
How much marks?
Others all are correct
Correct.
except.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think you will lose that much, right? Only thing is like
But
you are
sir,
not.
surprisingly 12 marks. You don't know where to divide the marks also.
Okay, okay. I mean, let me show you. I have the mark scheme. Let me show you how the marks are awarded. Okay, here we go. Right, these two are given, so no marks, right? Found equals false, I equals 0, 2 marks. Check, 1 mark. EMPI, 1 mark. So you are losing 1 mark for this, for not having lower, right? These two, 2 marks. This one is the increment, 1 mark. And the last check for false is 3 marks, right? Found for 1 mark, checking for false 1 mark, and the output is 1 mark. So you are losing only 1 mark. That's cool, right?
Yes.
But then it says 11 plus 1 for fully working code.
11 plus 1 for fully working code. Oh, that means you are getting, yeah, 11, right? 1 for fully working code.
Yeah, so even though it works, the answer is wrong, right? Not found.
Yeah, but
Total for the code is 11. Answer 1 mark. That's how it works,
5,
right?
7, 10, yeah, that's right. So you're losing 2 marks there. So that's
Yeah.
10, right? You're getting 10.
It's 10. 10.
Yeah. So that's enough, right? So that's the thing, right? That's why you should try, like, even though you don't get the complete answer, you should try the maximum, because you are getting these part marks, right? Okay, so you're checking the lowercase name that user inputs against the lowercase name that we take from the array. If they are matched, we print found, and we set found Boolean value to true, and then we need to have the increment